Hey,
And what's up? What's
hey,
going
third time's the charm. Let's try this.
on? I was going to say Chuck Oney, three.
Sorry about that.
It happens, quite a bit with Zoom. So, not as bad as what ours was recently, but at least we got it back going again, you know?
Yeah,
So
thank
cool.
you for being patient.
No problem, no problem. So the band started in 1987 in Ohio, right?
January 1st, 1987 in Kentucky.
Oh,
We
in
start
Kentucky.
we started in Ashland, Kentucky, but if you know Ashland, Kentucky, across the bridge is Ironton, Ohio, and then 25 miles up the road is Huntington, West Virginia. It's a tri-state area.
Cool, cool, cool. Now the band members at that time, did they audition or were they friends or how'd that work?
I started the band with a former bass player that I had played with years previously. Him and I played in a band together with the drummer that's in Vince Neil's band right now. We
Okay.
played with him. And I left and joined a cover band for 2 years. And then when I came back, when I was starting Oney, him and I started talking. And I just basically said, I'm going to start my own band. Bon Jovi, Dio, Dokken were all the rage.
Right.
And, if you want to come along, because I'm going to make some recordings and do some stuff. And then the other guys in the band were guys that I played with when I was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And one of them was Jeff Boggs, who would later be in Hydrogen
Oh,
later on, in the
right,
not too long ago.
right. Yeah. Wow, wow. And Jeff Westlake was
Yeah.
the guitarist in Hydrogen, right?
Yep. Jeff Westlake was the leader, and Jeff Boggs was the lead guitar player. Yep.
Cool,
Jeff
cool.
Boggs has always been good.
Wow,
He
wow.
played on our first demo. He was on the demo. Jeff Boggs was.
Cool, cool. Now, did you always think of the band name as Oni?
Yes. Well, there were two times in the band where there was a mutiny. About the first year into it, the guy said, it's funny because I just watched that Bon Jovi clip that he did Saturday Night Live, and he's
Right.
he's talking about, hey, I got a great name. It's called Bon Jovi, and the other guys didn't like it. So we started out as Oni, and then about 10 months into it, as other guys came in the band, they decided that they were just basically, hey, we don't want to be called Oni anymore.
Right.
And I was kind of pissed, but I was like, well, what do you guys want to be called? And
Uh-huh.
they were like, we want to be called Foreplay.
Uh-huh.
So we played Foreplay for one show, and
Right.
then all our fans who came to see us said, change it back. That's a dumb name.
Yeah.
So we ended up calling our own independent record label Foreplay Records, and that was a constant reminder to the
Uh-huh.
guys. And then
Wow.
later on, a couple of years later, different band members, except for the one guitar player, Mick Daniels, they tried to do a mutiny again, and they wanted to change the name to Silhouette.
Uh-huh.
And before we could book a show and play under Silhouette, uh, our friends and fans said, don't, that's a stupid name. You guys are Oni, stick to
Uh-huh.
Oni. We never told people it was my last name. We always
Right.
just
Yeah.
said, yeah, we just
Cool.
said it was an Indian god with a rather large penis. Or the devil in Oni, or in Japanese, which it means Oni is the devil.
Cool, cool. Now, the first release was a single in '88, Lady of the Night.
Lady of the Night with Don't Break My Heart. Yep.
Cool, cool. That was out on a 45.
That was on a 45. We did that all, DIY back then. We did it on our own. I took the band into the studio
Uh-huh.
and we paid for it on our own. And then later on, a few months later, we released it as a cassette single back in those days. And we added a song from our demo on there that got some radio airplay.
Cool,
So we kind of wanted to keep the old with the new and that kind of thing.
cool, cool. And also in '88, you put out 45.
Yeah, 45 was the name of the record, and
Uh-huh.
we couldn't think of a name, so we called
Right.
that 45, and then the cassette single, we named it 45 because we couldn't think of a better name. So for better or worse.
Cool, cool. Do you miss those times?
Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. They were fun, but I wish we would have had the internet
Right.
around in those days instead of going out and physically flying and
Uh-huh.
driving 3 hours to try to book a bar and have
Uh-huh.
them turn us down half the time. We wasted a lot of time that we could have done on the internet in minutes. So, but other ways I don't. We met a lot of people that way.
Cool, cool. I like back in the day because you know, everything wasn't like if you were reviewing stuff. everything was material, not a
Yeah.
button, not a
Physical
button.
meat.
You know,
Yeah.
I like getting that material in the mail. I sure the mailman don't, but I did. You know,
Yeah.
like I still got almost everything that was mailed to me, bands that I never heard of again, and whatever.
Yeah.
I still got that package.
I'd
Yeah.
see you posting that. Make sure you hit me up after this if you like vinyl or CDs, or I know you like pics. I got
Uh-huh.
some pics I'll send you.
Cool. Very cool. Very cool. So the next release was Good Guys Wear Black. That came out four
It
different versions.
it said it came a lot on the internet says it came out in 1988, but it really
Right.
came out in November of 1989. We started recording it in 1988, but it
Okay.
took us about a year to finish it, to save money, to go in the studio. And also, we were the guinea pig band at the recording workshop. I don't know if you remember in all the rock magazines, they always
Right.
had an ad for the recording workshop. Back in, it's still true to this day. You can go in and record for free as a guinea pig band for the
Uh,
students who are learning how to record. And
right.
then if you want to mix it, you have to pay for that. Or if you want to take your masters home with you, you have to pay for that. So we did that for about a year. We were like the guinea pig band, and then we ended up like paying for it on our own.
Wow. Wow. Um, were you guys in any magazines back then and stuff like that? Or I know, like, how about club ads?
We were like in fanzines. We sent off to a magazine. I do remember, it's funny now because I just thought of this the other day. We had friends of ours who were giving us the Rock City News from LA and stuff like that. We would put ads on
Right.
our own of 45 in there. Nobody ever bought any because they
Uh,
didn't know who we were.
right.
And we were from LA. It was like send to this address in Kentucky. But we were never really we tried to get in like, the unsigned band thing and
Right.
Metal Edge and all that stuff, but we never made any. We made a ton of fanzines of people
Uh-huh.
making their own stuff. But
Right.
Mr. Frog's Rock Talk was one of them. River City News was a newspaper around here, and it had like three or four different states that we made. They
Cool.
did a live review of us, but we were never in national magazines.
I bet you spent a lot of money on material to send out.
We sent a lot of promo packs, and I still have the stack of the rejected letters from the record labels telling us they didn't
Wow.
want us. So, yeah. So, and that's what led to us putting out Good Guys Wear Black because that was so expensive in those days to mail promo packs out and 45s and all that stuff. So, we just ended up like, hey, let's just do a EP on our own, If nobody wants to pick us up, Sweet Savage was a band we admired from afar, and Stiff, who were the guys in Lillian Axe. We admired them and they did it all on their own before us. And we
Right.
were like, let's just do it on our own and see what happens.
Cool. Cool. I know a lot of bands are rather do it on their own because they got no stipulations, no record companies saying you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
We want half your songs.
Yeah. Well, we were hoping it was going to turn into like the Poison with Enigma that
Right.
then Capitol Records. We were hoping that like New Renaissance or some little label like that, Grand Slam, would
Right.
pick us up and we would get like national, but it just never happened for us.
Okay. Next is The Legacy, which came out in 2020 on Demon Doll Records, which getting pretty popular, Demon Doll.
Yeah, David Dahl's been around for a while. We were on Retrospect Records before that, and they
Right.
released Good Guys Wear Black on CD, and then they released our unreleased record, Bust Them Down, which
Uh-huh.
was originally called Wasted Love, and we were recording it.
Right.
But we reunited in 2007. We went into the studio and cut Crazy, a suitable place for treatment for a Nazareth tribute that we got asked to be on that never came out
Right.
by Manny Charlton of Nazareth and John Sturr of Lillian Axe. Yes, he was the one that contacted us. But that kind of folded, so we just like, hey, let's just put it out there. We led to 3 years of reunion, and then unfortunately as you know, because you interviewed me for Rocklahoma, we went there
Right.
in 2008, and then our guitar player passed away in 2010. And since then, we've just been on sporadic reunions like once every 3 years for charity in Huntington, West Virginia.
Cool. Cool. Now in 2023, it says Wasted Love came out, 12 tracks.
No, we released a Good Guys Are Back,
Right.
a live album, and we released that, and then but no, we didn't release that. That's probably referring to Good Guys Are Back.
Right.
the
Yeah.
reunion show that we recorded live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. The Good Guys Are Back. When did that come out? 2015?
2013. That was our show at the Al Rosa Villa. Our first reunited show was recorded. We recorded it for the live, and then Retrospect Records at the time was going to put it out, but then they changed, and so we kind of held it for a little while. Found some old recordings from 1990, early 90 that we did, and some old demos that I did for Good Guys Wear Black, and we just put it out ourselves, only streaming. And
Right.
then during COVID, I put it out on a physical copy of it on CD.
Cool, cool.
I'll
Now,
send you one of those too.
cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, did you ever play with a national act as a support act?
Yeah. We played with Helix,
Uh-huh.
Lil Axe, Faster Pussycat, Enough's Enough, Tough, Child's Play. Yeah, we played with a lot of support acts. We did a
Cool.
bunch.
Cool. When you go on stage, do they ever watch?
Uh, Chips Enough came out and watched us and gave us a thumbs up. Uh, Faster Pussycat guys, I don't think they watched us. Tammy was in us, that was
Yeah.
what was cool about that show
Uh-huh.
was when we showed up to the bar to sound check, that was when their original drummer tried to mail himself heroin,
Oh,
and Frankie Benelli filled in for him.
yeah.
The show where we opened, that was Frankie Benelli's first show.
Right. Wow.
So we walk into the place and he's on drums. He's
All
like
right.
sound checking his drums. And I'm sitting here looking at him and I was like, is that Frankie Benelli? So he kind of saw me kind of like say that to the guys as we were walking closer to the stage. And
Right.
he said, "Hey fellas, what's up? You guys must be the opening act." And he was super cool. But yeah, that was like his, I think that was his first show with him on drums and nobody knew about it.
Cool. Cool. So, did you basically stay to the East Coast?
Yeah, we eventually after I graduated from college, we relocated to Columbus, Ohio because our drummer was going to go to college here,
Right.
and they had the Out Rosavilla, and they had another a rock club called the Park Avenue that we
Right.
used to play like all the time, and then unfortunately the band broke up in '92, but we three of us pretty much stayed here the whole time after that. So.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. You enjoying vinyl making a resurgent?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well,
It's cool.
uh, I like it better than the CD. I like the sound and having that physical big seat album in my hands. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely enjoy it. Yeah, I'm a big vinyl guy. So yeah.
Cool. So
I,
what?
I like all physical media, but I definitely like, vinyl's probably my favorite.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So what's your biggest accomplishment in music? Would you say?
Um, I would say just being able to keep putting out music. I put my last record out, my solo album, second solo album out in 2020. Um, just being able to keep enjoying music as far as success. Well, that success is a relative term, but I put out my own music and I've done a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things, played a lot of cool shows, met a lot of music, musicians, and in as far as even more successful, one of my buddies is he's in national acts and stuff like that. So I mean, it's I would say my biggest success is just still enjoying it after all these years.
Yeah. Cool. Very, very cool. Do you plan on releasing more material?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got to write some more stuff, but I just haven't had a chance to get in the studio. I've been kind of since COVID. I was finishing my record during COVID, so I got it out in 2021, called Authorized Information. It was my second solo, and it has like a little bit of history on it. The second side has me with Oney live, kind of give you where if you never heard of me before, it has me with my longtime band after Oney with two of the guys from Oney, called The Vague, and we were like a power pop. Foo Fighters meets Marvelous Three type of band. Man, have some songs on that and some solo stuff that I did with other people. But yeah, I haven't really written anything yet since then.
Right.
Just kind of, but it's just because I've been on another path in life as far as like instead of writing and playing all the time shows.
Right.
I've been going back and seeing a lot of bands that I missed over the years. I never saw Wasp. I never saw a ton of bands, and I've been spending the last few years enjoying. I go see live music all the time. I got Michael Monroe is coming up next. I just wanted to like go back to what I when I became a fan of bands and kind
Right.
of get more inspired that way.
You didn't see Wasp when they opened for Kiss?
No, I was actually in a cover band during that time
Oh,
period, and I played 7 days a week or 6 days a
wow.
week and traveled on Sundays. So yeah, during that time period, I was in 85 and 86, I was in cover bands and traveling. And up until that point, I was just a teenager and broke, so I had to pick out which shows I could go to. But yeah, I missed two Kiss tours. Of all my
Wow.
Kiss fandom, I missed two of them. Yeah.
So, what bands would you like to see coming up? I know you said Wasp and Michael Monroe, and
Michael Monroe it's next on my list to go see. I'm going to go see the Gene Simmons band.
me too. Me too.
Yeah, so that's somebody asked me that yesterday, and I said, well, in the past 3 years, I've seen a ton of bands that I didn't get to see, so I'm going to have to think about that one. So definitely
Right.
Michael Monroe. This year, the concert season is going to be like bands I haven't seen at all. So Gene
Yeah.
Simmons and Michael Monroe are my only two so far, but it's still early.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I got like some photo sessions coming up and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden I get a paper in the mail for jury duty, you know,
Ah, yeah. Well,
and
I
then
mean, I missed
travel.
some, yeah, I missed some concerts because I never had to do jury duty, but just like stuff like that, you can't go or
Yeah,
work. Now it's work. Yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Tell me, you were just on a podcast called Hair Metal Rules. How was that?
That was great. He likes to talk about the bands that were under the radar. On
Huh?
Jeremy, the guy. I've done a ton of podcasts, and it's funny. I tell I play right now in a Kiss '80s Kiss tribute band,
Huh?
with the guitar player from Oney and the Vague, and I say, I get asked to do more stuff now than I did then.
Oh yeah,
You know.
yeah, definitely. You know,
It's the internet has made it a worldwide approach. People know you, the independent bands who never did much, that weren't signed, that weren't the Van Halens or the Motley Crues or the Rats, that kind of deal, which is cool.
right,
True fans have seeked out. That's how I was.
right,
I was listening to bands like Hanoi Rocks in the early 80s, and like Lillian Axe was a big favorite, Enough's Enough was a big favorite. Um, an early Motley Crue before like a lot of stuff, and our guitar player Scott was listening to like Def Leppard, all that new wave. He was
right,
way into that new wave British metal way before I was. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Some of the bands I listened to back then were basically probably same ones you did, but like today I got a flashback and I love a band called Legs Diamond,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I listened to the song Woman again. It's phenomenal. That matches up right. I mean, not as good as Angel, but
Right.
kind of like the same kind of click type thing. And I said they were amazing.
Yeah, see, I was into Angel and New England and those
Yeah,
kind of bands, and yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd get to see Angel live. So I've seen him now about 5 times up
yeah.
close. So,
Wow.
I got to shake Frank and Punky's hand,
Uh-huh.
VIP thing. So, yeah, I mean, I never thought that would happen. Those guys were my heroes back then, still are.
Yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, I must have saw them about 5, 6 times too, and they also used a lot of my concert pictures.
Yeah,
You know,
I see all that old stuff from back in the day where you got to see all that stuff. So you're probably a little bit older than me, so I kind of missed all that time period. But Scott, my guitar player in Oney, he had an older brother who was taking him out to all that kind of stuff. So he
yeah,
saw all those tours. He
right,
saw
yeah,
he saw Kiss in '76, and my first concert was Kiss in '78, and where the Rockets opened. Then I saw them the next year where Judas Priest opened. So
right.
before that, I mean, I was still a kid. I didn't have a car, so
Ah,
or how to drive one.
definitely, definitely. Well, the new Angel stuff, they put out Punky put out a picture discs. The
Yeah,
picture on that's mine. They made a tour book. A lot of the pictures are mine. They made a poster. A lot of mine. Like Punky's great. He gives
yeah,
me carte blanche and anything I want.
that's
So
very cool.
definitely
Yeah.
really cool. Tell me about this thing, authorized information.
Yeah, that's my new solo album that came out in May of 2021. Um, that's my latest. It came out on vinyl and CD and tape and old school. I went old school on it. Yeah, but that was songs I wrote. Prior to that, I had a solo album in 2014. It was just an EP called Shimmering Hearts. Pretty
Right.
much play all the instruments myself. Scott from Oney does appear on guitar on track two, a song called Mixed Star, which was about Mickey Daniels, our guitar player in Oney that passed away in
Uh-huh.
2010. And besides me, he was the only original member in our original run from 87 to 92. It was just me and him were the only two original members.
Cool, cool.
And he was the guy that I didn't know when I started the band. He came to audition, and he was the only one I didn't know because I told you all the other guys were guys I played in high school bands. I knew the bass player that we started the band. We were kind of friends, but I didn't know Mickey when he came to audition, and he pretty much stayed,
Uh-huh.
the whole time with me.
Cool, cool, cool. And you still do live shows, right?
I do live shows. My next show is I do live solo.
Uh-huh.
Basically, I play whatever people ask me. If they want me to get a full band and play, I'll play.
Mhm.
Um, prior to COVID, I did a lot of cover happy hour shows.
Right.
And then when COVID, everybody had to take a break. I kind of realized that I was doing the hustle all the time.
Mhm.
And I kind of got tired of doing the hustle. So I ask now when people ask me to play. So I
Right.
have friends in town who say, hey, we need you to do an acoustic set, or hey, we need you to put a band together and play. But my next show right now, currently, I have a show in March at a place here in Columbus, Ohio that has a lot of national acts called Natalie's.
Uh-huh.
And I'm doing the Kiss band, the Kiss tribute band, Unmask Ohio is what we're called. Unmask OH. And it's
Uh-huh.
80s Kiss, no makeup, that kind of stuff. I do the Paul stuff.
Cool, cool. Now, what's your feeling about giving autographs? Because I know when you played Rocklahoma, you were giving plenty of autographs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, if anybody wants my autograph, I was never in the major leagues, just in the minor leagues. Anybody wants my autograph, I don't have a problem with take pictures. Yeah, great. I like
Right.
to take pictures and so I ask for autographs. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Cool, cool. Do you remember the first album you ever bought? Was it
Yeah.
Kiss?
Yeah. See, the first one I bought with my own money was Kiss Love Gun.
Uh-huh.
I went to go get Dressed to Kill.
Right.
And when I got there, the store didn't have Dress to Kill.
Uh,
So the clerk told me, he said, Kiss has a brand new album out, right? And I was like, no. And he said, yeah, they got it, just came out this week. So
wow.
I bought Love Gun, went home, and shocked me, literally shocked me.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know their voices well enough back then. And I thought Ace sang all the other songs that his name was on.
Right,
And
yeah.
so when I first heard his voice, I was like, I had to like pick the needle back up and play it again. I was like, that's Ace. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, I Love Gun was, I still have the same record. Yeah.
Wow. Cool, cool, cool. So what was your biggest experience in music?
Um, My biggest experience, I guess, would probably be Rocklahoma. I would
Uh-huh.
say
Yeah,
Rocklahoma was probably the
yeah,
biggest thing.
yeah.
Just hanging out and having fun and meeting people and seeing old friends and seeing people I hadn't met that were married to
Uh-huh.
some of these acts and stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun.
So what's your feeling about the current state of the music scene right now?
Well, if you're asking me about the Grammys, where was
Oh,
the
yeah,
memorial for John Sykes and CJ, Snare and somebody else? Great White Singer,
right, yeah.
Jack
Uh-huh.
Russell. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's it's not my time period. It's music, current music, pop music is for younger people. As far as like rock music, you know. I try to listen to the newer bands that are doing that style,
Right,
but it's not all of them, but some of them I just can't get into because it almost seems like it's I don't want to say ingenuine, sincere. I just it's coming from a different perspective because it's a
right,
different time,
right.
and so it's doesn't seem as real to
Hmm.
me. And maybe because I'm older now, listening to it and not feeling everything as intensely as I did in my 20s, and I was going to be the next, one of those guys on stage. It
Hmm.
just seems different to me, and I have a hard time believing in it like I did when I was younger. But there are new bands that I see, and it's not so much in that vein, but
Right.
I see and I go, wow, these guys are really good that I can get into them like that. So it's the current state is, I hope it involves more. I really wish that somewhere down the line there becomes more focus on actually playing
Right.
and singing live.
Cool. I feel it's like repetitive, like almost like all the bands sound the same to me. Oh yeah, we did that. Oh yeah, we did that. Same thing. Yeah, you sound like this. Do
Yeah.
something different, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, even towards the later, the later hair metal or, hard rock era of that in the heyday of the 80s, I started thinking that a
Uh-huh.
lot of the bands, and I was involved in it, that a lot of these
Yeah.
bands are sounding the same. I've heard this before. So yeah, it was even for me, I was getting kind of tired of going through the same old loop at that time period. I didn't want Oney to break up, but when they did break up, I wasn't as heartbroken as people
Right.
thought I was. I was kind of ready to make changes in my life.
Right. Well, you have any merchandise you'd like to talk about where people can pick it up and where they can pick it up?
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, you can find me on online. Just look for Chuck Oney and stuff like that. You can search and you know, I I have CDs, I have records, I have cassette tapes. Um, I have all that stuff, and you can find me online if you just search Chuck Oney.
Well, Chuck, it was great talking to you, and I appreciate the chat. A lot of information you gave me about past and present, and congratulations on your long career in music.
All
We,
right, hey, thank you, I appreciate it. I wish I didn't. I could just play music as a living
yeah,
instead of having to work, but hey, it could be worse.
we'll go three times the charm, huh? Love
Yeah, hey, yeah, hey, don't forget to send me your address. Hey, what do you like? Do you like vinyl or CD?
final.
Okay, I'll send you vinyl and I'll send you a CD of the live Oni and some pics.
Cool. Thanks a lot. You'd like to say anything to the fans out there?
Thanks for supporting me in Oni and in the Veg and solo as Chuck Oni. Like I said, Google my name, you'll find me. You'll find the music. I'm on all streaming, Spotify, Amazon. Just keep listening. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Chuck.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.